out to you. This goes out to you.
What's good, y'all? I'm JoMama. Welcome to Afternoons with me. Today, engineered by Paul Brumbaugh. I'm gonna work that in.
Are you gonna somehow?
I can't call you my co-host because you're my engineer.
Yeah.
You can't be two things at one time.
No, I cannot be two things at one time, but thank you for giving me my shout out. I take my shout out.
Hell yeah. You're the big guy. You're the one that beats everybody else up if I can't handle it. Okay, so next. My guest today is Brain Damage, and I've met you I believe the first time I met you was at Slate Bar, I want to say, and then I've been meeting you, I've been seeing you at like different mics for the last year or 2 years, or for as long as I've been here. Have you, I understand, do you get booked? Because I don't mean to say it like that, I'm just so unaware.
Do you get booked?
Yeah, you get booked. I've seen your...
I've gotten booked from time to time, but
forgive me because I just don't keep up. What was the last shows that you had just done? Because, like, bring that up so people can look it up.
honestly, the last show I did was in VR, and it's called Failed to Render.
What's VR?
It's virtual reality.
Wow.
It's like you put on a goggle, and
Oh, wow.
it's like you look like... So there's some where you can look like yourself, your avatar, and there's other ones where you just, like, kind of pick a character.
Okay.
And so I've done both.
And then you talk
So it's
through
pretty
it.
fun.
You just talk? I mean, like, you talk through this VR thing? You
Yeah.
do comedy?
Yeah, it's kind of...
Can you hear people? Can you hear the audience?
Yeah, you can hear the audience, and they're pretty cool. And what's cool about it is they're from all over the world. Sometimes, So
Oh, wow. That's
kinda
quite an
cool.
audience.
yeah, and I've met people through there. And honestly, I've been out of the game for a few months because of health and family issues. So that's how I've been kind of practicing still, is through that.
Okay.
And they got open mics there, and they got shows. So I do the open mics
And what
sometimes.
is this
and I got
on
2
Bacon
paid shows
too?
out of it.
Is it
No,
on Bacon or?
I don't think it's on Bacon, but it's called Failed to Render. But there's a couple other ones in there that have open mics too. But Failed to Render is like, it's the most notorious one.
Did you see how that landed?
No,
We heard
it.
it.
Land
We
upside
heard it.
down. You like one of those YouTube videos where you just...
My coffee can just landed perfect in the recycling bin, but it bounced off of the trash.
You
Okay.
are
At
a
least
true
it
recycling
ended-
person. That's great.
At least it landed. My kids
Yeah.
would be proud. They'd all freaked out.
How many kids do you have?
No, I meant the kids that I work with, but I
Oh.
I have
You
2
have
and 2. So I got 2 kids and 2 stepkids.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids. One is a step kid. I don't know which one, but I'm just kidding.
I like that.
But your kids are about the same age as mine, I think, because you have an adult child as well, right?
Yeah, so my 2 are 18 and 20, or she's gonna be 24 this year in
Ooh,
August.
yeah.
And then the stepkids I think are 30 and 29.
Oh, wow, 30 and 29. So you don't have young ones. I mean, you don't have to identify stepkids from there, because I think that...
Yeah, but yeah. It's like, they
Like-
grew up with their dads, but like, so my daughter, when I met her mom, she had a young son, but like his dad was there. Me and him was cool. And but like, I still helped raise
yeah,
him.
yeah.
But then like,
Here's my question. Did you teach them how to drive?
I taught none of them how to drive.
Oh my
And
God.
I feel so fuck. Are we allowed to curse here?
Yes.
I feel so fucking bad about
Thank
it.
you.
Like, and my son right now, I'm trying to teach him how to drive, but half the time he's at his girl's house. He's at his
Yeah,
girl's house
how-
all the time now.
Which son? How old is this son?
18.
Oh, and that's your youngest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Does it feel good though? Because I feel like my 4 kids, 23, 22, 18, and a 5-year-old. And I felt like when my eldest son was about to graduate from high school, I was like, we can do this all over again. And then and then I'm going through a divorce. So it's really hard. But of my 4 kids, I taught 3 of them 3 of them how to drive.
Nice.
They have their license. We've provided cars, whether it was by me, their dad, or a grandparent. But we did our due diligence when it came to like giving these kids licenses or the lessons to learn to drive. It's scary.
Nice. Yeah, it is. It is scary. So I feel bad because my daughter, she moved to Colorado with her mom. So she's in Denver, but I had a chance for a second. She came back and I didn't really figure out where to go teach her how to drive, and now she's back
Yeah.
out there. So, and then now with my son, we live in East Oakland, like deep East Oakland. So it's kind of hard
Oh.
to find spaces to.
First of all,
And I'm scared to let him drive. Honestly, he's a,
when I taught my kids how to drive, it was in the safe place of Texas, the rural parts of Texas where there was no real. I could avoid real traffic. I could avoid the city traffic. So when I brought my kids here, luckily, they had. Well, actually, my 18-year-old was just getting her license, so that was, yeah, that was fun. It was hard.
that's not where you're from though, right?
No, okay, I'm from here, but when I was married, he's from there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So here at the city.
yeah, I grew up around the corner, like on 11th Street,
Nice.
and you?
Well, I was born in Hawaii, but I came to the
Oh,
city
Hawaii.
about like 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
So yeah, I grew up in the city.
What
pretty
school did
much.
you go to?
I went first to Fairmont Elementary.
Uh-huh.
Then I went to James Lick Middle School. Then I went
James
to
Lick.
McAteer High School, which is now
McAteer.
School of the Arts. But I got kicked out of there and went to, I think it was called, there was some, was it Mark Twain?
I'm
Somewhere
familiar
out
with-
in the avenues. And
I'm
then
familiar with all these
they
names.
tried to
that
send me
you-
to Ida B. Wells, and I just switched to John Adams and ended up getting my GED. So I never graduated, but now I'm just about to graduate at college with
Hey!
my first.
For real.
I got certificates at City College back in like 2013, 14. But this will be my first actual degree. So
Okay.
it only took me
From
14 years to get a 2-year degree.
but from not graduating from high school to, is that right?
Yeah.
Like, because that's what you were saying. You didn't graduate from high school, but you got your GED.
Yeah, I kind of got tricked into getting it because I worked at this youth program
Uh-huh.
and I applied to be a youth supervisor. And I asked the people when I applied, I said, "Will me not having a GED have anything to do with me getting this position?" They were like, "No, you're good." And then they came back and was like, "We really want you for the position, but you need your GED because it's a leadership." And they gave me until February 11th, 1999, and I passed the test February 10th, 1999.
You are absolutely
I'm a
detailed.
procrastinator.
You're detailed too. I mean, like you remember these details. Like, we are in the year 2024.
Nah, well, I mean, just
Damn.
that one sticks out to me because it was like I was really pissed that they did that
Hey.
to me, but ultimately it helped me.
I mean, like, look at you now, right? That's why I was like, from barely getting it, right. And because you said that you transferred around a lot. That's what I.
But
I
yeah,
heard.
and I wasn't going to school the whole time.
Okay.
2015, I stopped and just barely came back after pandemic.
Do you know where Philip and Salaberton is?
Yeah.
All right, so I started I got into the lottery and I was approved to go to Philip and Salaberton,
Yeah.
and it's an academic school. But
Yeah.
I gathered my credits, okay? But in the end, like towards my senior year, I knew I wasn't going to graduate with the credits I had, so I took it to Jefferson. I'm sorry, I'm like coughing. And what's worse is I have these allergies, and then I keep on singing and talking. And you see I'm hitting my inhaler, but really I should just stop smoking. But okay, so they took my credits at Jefferson, and I graduated mid-semester in January.
Nice.
And then before I knew it, I signed up for the military and left.
I heard that.
Yeah, I was out of here in 1997 as soon as I graduated, because I felt like if I stayed here any longer with no plan, I wouldn't be successful in life. Not to say it like that, but that's where my path was going.
I feel you.
Yeah, you got bad cousins too?
You got bad cousins too.
Our whole family is wild. It's just- yeah.
But Like, you got bad influences in your family, or are you the bad influence?
I mean, growing up in the city, I wouldn't say it's even bad influence. Like the bad stuff that we did growing up, like helped. I mean, I'm glad there was no, camera phones and shit around when we were growing.
Good God, yes. I totally agree.
I.
Yes, because there's so many things that could have been documented. They had to do a picture, a digital, not even digital cameras were new back then. So if they had a camera, it's a digital camera.
Yeah, like even the disposable,
Or
the little
disposable, they have to
ones you
develop
have to
it.
take to Walgreens and
Right.
get it disposed. My cousin would actually have like a, but so funny story is I had went back to Hawaii.
Hmm.
I think it was either right before the earthquake of '89 or right after it. Yeah, it must have been before because it was during summer, and I'm in Hawaii as a little kid watching TV, and I see local man wins $1 million in Reno. And like I'm like, yo, that's my cousin Frito. What is this? Like, you
That
know
was
what I
your
mean?
cousin for
Yeah,
real?
and so my cousin always had plugs. So he actually had one of the first like digital or not even
Oh
digital,
my
like the kind you would have to take
brain
the film
damage!
out.
You just
You know
broke
what I
some
mean?
like,
And he would get them developed, but you know how you would get them little rolls of film and put it in, and not even the disposable ones.
damn, you had to win the lottery to experience that back then.
Yeah.
So no, hold on, your cousin won the. I bet that was okay. I
No,
feel
he
like
didn't win the lottery. He won. He like I think it was
oh,
slots in Reno.
still any
Yeah, because my grandfather had a spot out in Reno, so we'd be out there sometimes. And
damn. So you have to win big money in order to experience like rich stuff like that. But what? Okay, this is what I know. When people get a windfall of money, it can be a blessing or a curse, and more than likely it can be a curse because if you're not used to having that much money, you don't know what to do with
yeah,
it, and it could hurt you.
yeah.
It's like a kid not knowing how to eat cake and just eat the whole thing, and then they're throwing up later on.
Oh
You
man,
feel me? Like,
my little homie did that. That yeah. Anyways,
but
but yeah. I feel you. Luckily, it was one of the things where like they would give him like a certain amount a couple times a year. It wasn't like he just got 1 million, boom. But like that's what we thought at the time.
okay,
But
and that's another
yeah.
thing because
But
everybody
still,
who saw it.
it was money in our family that like not.
But do
most
you
of our
notice how
family
it
had,
was
you know what I mean?
his? It was his winning, and you notice how it became the family's. Like you just said, it's our family money now. But
No. It wasn't really. That's what I'm saying. It was just like for our family, that was my cousin. He had the good
yeah,
shit, and then the rest of us would have, the broke people shit.
but at least he was still your cousin because they could grow.
Oh yeah.
Like, have
Yeah.
you seen next Friday when the dad wins the lottery and they move to Cucamonga, Rancho Cucamonga?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like life changes when you have that much money that you could do things differently. But as fast as it comes, it can be even faster as
Yeah,
it goes.
They have those stories of people that have won the lottery and then
Have you heard of people who won it twice? Some people have won it twice, and I'm just like,
lost it all both
yes,
times, right? Somebody
yes.
had told me about that, but I've never seen like there's like
Do you believe in God?
yeah.
Okay,
Well, but like not the same thing that I grew up believing in.
okay. Well, I mean, as
And
far
now
as
I'm like,
a bigger power that you can look to at least for consolation and faith. That's what I mean.
yeah.
Okay, so when things like that happen, I feel like God has a purpose for you, or you have a purpose in life. Otherwise, you wouldn't keep on having these blessings. So, like, damn, I wish I had that purpose where I kept on accidentally winning the lottery because I haven't served my purpose yet.
Man, yeah. If I won the lottery, it would be.
What's up, Paul? Paulie? I'm a
Polly B, what's up?
Paulie B. I didn't even know you go by that. Like,
No,
you kept on saying Paulie, and I was like,
many monikers. They call me many things.
what's the nice things they call you?
What's the nice thing? The nicest thing somebody can call me is sweetheart, and that's my wife.
Oh, I wish I could meet your wife. She sounds really nice
To be married to?
no, to take care of you.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
she's the sweetie. So the only thing that's better than that, yeah. So either her
To be
saying
married
sweetheart
to.
or my mom calling me sweetheart or honey or something is one of my kids when they call me dad.
But when you say, "Oh, that was sweet,"
But then yeah, it goes downhill from there quite
well,
dramatically. Next, the top three is like asshole. So,
But Polly is
what's
the
your preferred pronoun?
Polly's the first time like you kept on saying Polly. I was like, who's this Polly person? And you're like, me.
Well, okay, so I've been called Polly a couple different times in my life, and I've also even had when I was my middle name is Nick, and so I even tried to get my friends to call me Nick when I was younger, and or Nicholas is actually my full name, but anyway. So, but so
Only when you're in trouble.
well, when I'm in trouble, yeah, Paul Nicholas Rumbaugh. So anyway, yeah, I mean, sure. I have many things. So, but the reason I was saying Polly is because the show on before yours. That's my
With Zig.
yeah. That's kind of my stage name, I guess.
Shout out
for
to
him.
Zig in the Zone.
Yeah, Zig in the Zone calls
Yeah.
me Polly B because he can't say Brumbaugh. It comes out differently every
I
single
would
time.
not be able to say that either.
There you go.
Well, when I was saying a boss,
Yeah.
he said it different, and I could hear it in my ears. But when I said it again, it's like a boss, and he's like a bass or something. I'm just like, what am I saying wrong? But
Because he's like saying it.
the
with
emphasis is with it
his-
different, right?
Yeah, it's like a bass. Or
Oh,
something
with
like
his
that.
accent.
Yeah, it was slightly
Yeah.
different.
Did you hear him do that accent?
Yeah. Don't worry, you're not gonna be canceled for this.
No, because he's Algerian.
There's nothing
Yeah.
to cancel. It's all good.
Yeah.
It was an Algerian accent, so I'm glad that you were able to identify that because I was like, it felt like it wasn't coming out of my throat right.
And I'm pretty sure I'm saying it wrong too. And when he just looked at me and was saying that's
Yeah.
it, he was just being. He's like, I'm
Yeah,
not gonna say it
yeah.
30 times
That
for you
was
to
a-
try to get it.
A
Yeah,
great
yeah.
meeting though. I'm glad you got to meet because you just right there. You,
It's just right there.
He's
It's
been there
on
for
the street
years.
corners. Right.
but I mean, he's a staple. Like next
He's
to
a staple of San Francisco.
next to your guy, the
Yeah,
KJ
there's
guy.
so many people that are right there. So
Mm.
we talk about the different cannabis clubs and different clubs that are out there. It's like I'd rather give some of these
locals.
let's call it
Pop-ups.
pop-ups.
Okay.
Right.
Because like with that gentleman, a boss, he was selling crystals and incense and
Not crystal meth, crystals.
Right.
no crystals,
yeah,
like
yeah.
crystals that he
Just
had
to be clear, I like this guy.
Right, but he has
Those are
necklaces that
ornament
were
out there.
fashioned out of metal and crystal and leather
Oh,
and
Gosh, maybe I can get one where I should have got one and wore one. That would have been
you would have had to tip him more than $1.
I know. I tipped him $1 for the $10
You're
joint
so
I got.
sweet.
Well, but he's been hooking me up with joints. Every time I buy those $5 joints, he sees how broke I am and he gives me an extra joint.
Well, you got the different colored nails.
Oh, yes. I like to keep it confusing.
I like to keep it confusing.
Yes.
I like to keep it confusing too. I usually wear my gloves. It's a little warm in here. I'm so self-conscious today because somehow I forgot my wedding ring.
Oh, no.
And it has a
It
little,
happens to me too.
it has a little fidget spinner on there that I get to. And today I'm like, where's
Well,
my
that's funny
pin?"
because mine is like a fidget spinner.
My-
I literally noticed it as soon as I left the house. I'm
Oh.
like, oh, I might as well have walked out with no pants on.
Right. I mean, it's been feeling so
Don't
weird
do
today.
that.
I'm like,
I'm wearing a ring. It's a cock
Okay.
ring, but I'm wearing a ring.
I'm hella sad about the fact that I don't wear a wedding ring anymore.
Aw.
I am hella sad.
I
Like-
don't like jewelry, but that
Dude.
piece I liked. Well, no, I meant on me. I don't like wearing jewelry. I don't have any
Yeah.
piercings. I
Yeah.
don't wear.
Yeah.
I used to wear a necklace. Last time I fashioned a necklace, it either had a lightning bolt, arrowhead, or puka shells.
For LT,
No, for like, as in like, you're a 70s kid.
I was thinking
Yeah,
LT with his.
so-
got a gold chain with a gold fish hook that my cousin in Hawaii gave me.
Yeah.
But I'll still rock my kukui nuts.
You
Pretty
know-
much every Friday is a little
Yeah,
Friday for
arrowhead,
me,
puka
so.
shell,
But,
or the lightning bolt. That was the only.
But
I
okay,
had the fish hook.
I realized that when I stopped wearing my wedding ring, I've been married since I was 21 years old. I'm 45. I've had that imprint on my, well, because even from my first marriage, and then even the breakup from my first marriage. Sorry to get all depressed, but yeah, no. So I started to wear this on this one time, but then I went out on a date. And I realized how awkward that was with the guy. So I was like, okay, I'm going to move this over here.
Why is it so? It shouldn't be awkward. Because
No,
that's obviously not a wedding ring.
Can I say something? I like this guy. I like him enough to be, I guess, like aware of it.
Oh.
Otherwise, I'd be like,
Oh, I see. You're going to give him a link to today's show.
if he's
And
not
say,
watching
please
already.
tune in at 20 minutes
Hopefully
and
he's
15
watching.
seconds.
Yeah, like if he's not watching already, but I mean, he's a sweet, sweet guy.
Oh.
Anyways,
Nice.
I got off track. So here's to the divorce. I'm gonna
Right.
have a party.
Right. Okay.
Nice.
You've never been through a divorce. You've been in a,
I
and
mean,
I've
you
been
started
through a
with a divorce,
divorce.
and then
I
now
got
you're
a
saved.
baby mama.
Yeah,
through
no.
the divorce. I honestly, I proposed to her when I first got her pregnant, and luckily she said no.
Luckily.
But yeah, then now I'm with my wife, with mother of my 18-year-old son.
What is that? Unanswered prayers. Have you heard that song?
Mm-mm.
But it's a country song about like unanswered prayers and how you should be thankful for some unanswered prayers because
you just clarified that what that song was about. You know, the song Unanswered Prayers is a lot about unanswered prayers that have been unanswered.
but it's like
Just like they tell you, just keep praying, bro. Just keep praying.
it's a fortunate thing that you missed out, but you don't
Cool that he
realize.
ignored you, but is that Scooby Doo bus up there?
That is
Yes.
a Scooby-Doo bus.
The
Fucking love
mystery
Scooby-Doo.
machine.
Yeah, it even makes noises when you push it, like, roll, Raggy.
Dude, that's just like me. My attention span is like, what's
I was-
that?
I went and had lunch with a somewhat of a comedy mentor of mine today, and the last time that I had went out with him, we seen an actual Scooby Doo bus.
On the road?
Yeah, and I was like,
Did
"Take
you
a
take
picture."
pictures?
It was kind of blurry.
That's what I was wondering. Did you take pictures?
He did. He took a picture.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
sent it to me, but it was a while ago.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
didn't realize how
It
low.
was, the picture was blurry, so I never posted it or nothing else. It's like,
but at least
But it
you
was
remember.
cool to see. Yeah, and my blind, he was like, "Yo, there's a Scooby Doo bus up there," and I was like, "What?"
Mm.
And I seen it, and I was like, "All right, I'm gonna speed up and catch up to it. You take a picture of it for me."
Yo,
Yeah, there's at least one mystery machine in the Bay Area. I've seen it multiple times.
that somebody lives in or
Or
drives.
drives
Yeah,
or
they
whatever.
have
One of them was like
Yeah,
in
'cause
Rose
this was
City all
on
the time.
580.
And
like,
then the
going
other one
toward
is out there
Hayward.
by me, by Pleasanton and Livermore and all that stuff.
I want to say living in San Antonio, Texas, there was a lot of opportunities to see the Wienermobile.
Oh yeah.
They had an HEB cart it's a big cart, but it's a car that they're driving, but the shape of a shopping cart.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that. That's
Right.
the one.
Yeah.
It's for Save Mart or for
Well,
whatever.
In Texas is HEB, which
Oh, that's
stands for Howard E. Butts.
Of course it does. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've seen the huge.
Wait,
So they
shopping
even
cart?
have the huge
It's a
shopping
shopping cart.
cart, and it's crazy because they had it in our parade in our hometown, which my hometown had a great parade, but now I live in a little rural, small hometown, and literally, I mean, literally, that I was like, people were pulling like what is it called, like radio flyer wagons,
Yes.
with their
Yeah.
with their stuff,
I've-
and I'm like,
I've seen-
oh, that's your float. That was the float for the library. Anyway, the best part of it was this huge shopping cart that was built on top of like a hot rod, because it comes out,
That sounds so safe.
and I'm like, wow. And the shopping cart's going like 2 miles an hour.
No, I've literally seen a gigantic radio flyer wagon car in
Oh, wow.
me and my wife. She took pictures. It's somewhere, probably on my Facebook or hers, and she probably tagged me or something. But this was years ago. But it was a gigantic radio flyer wagon, but a car, and people,
The little things that you find enjoyment in just to like distract you from the pains of life. Dude, I ain't gonna lie. I'm hella depressed lately. So I feel like every time I talk, it just sounds depressing. Like I get depressed with myself. So
It doesn't sound depressing. It's like, but I'm sorry you feel that way.
no, well, okay, so before this podcast, I had to talk to a lawyer, and they just basically had to read me what I'm having to answer to in discoveries, the divorce process. And I'm so blinded by hurt and emotions that I can't see past the words. I just start crying, like crying. And they're like, calm down. They just want to know where you've been employed for the last few days. I'm like, since January. But see, it kills me because he wants stuff like my comedy clips. And I feel like I escaped a a situation, and it's just like I have to face it now. You know what I mean? To call the divorce over. I have to revisit what we went through, so it can be finalized now. So I'm just going through the cycle, the pain of, and we were married for 18 years, so that's a long time. Yeah, people don't understand. I'm like looking all happy and shit, but I'm fucking dying inside. I'm dying, and people are like, "Oh, you look cool." That's how hard I'm working to look cool. You know what I mean? So I'm I'm like, why do I even have this Paul? Maybe you should help me out with this. Paulie.
Paulie.
I mean, like I feel like I get this podcast just to feel like I have a purpose, and the only purpose is to be talking about it. And then I'm like, I hate myself.
No, you shouldn't hate yourself. Okay, so
Exactly.
I mean, and brain damage can pop in too, but I mean, expressing yourself in a positive environment and way is a good thing. I do it all the time with whenever I host a show. Whenever the audience is not giving me enough energy in between comedians, I'm like, hey guys, come on, give it up for that last comedian, whatever. And I'll try to, he said this funny thing or she said that funny thing, and you guys can relate because this and that, and
So some people come heavy, right?
well, yeah, but I try to make it sound like, believe me, you'd rather these guys, your next comedian to the stage, I'm going to hand a microphone to, because you'd rather have him up on stage with a microphone than, let's say, on a rooftop with a sniper's rifle or in front of his boss at his day job.
It could be worse.
Yeah, it could be way worse.
Ready to
And I
strangle
go,
them.
oh, you guys are not clapping loud enough. You don't want to run into, let's say, a comedian like that last one in a dark alley, let's say behind this bar at 2 a.m.
Good
You know,
God.
kind of thing.
I love your sense of, yeah. It's
Your
like
sense of irony, or,
Well,
or
yeah.
not irony, but yeah.
you can appreciate the situation so much better when you look at the irony in
Yeah.
it. Irony.
But like for me, I'm like, I commend you on starting this podcast and doing things that, like, I'm sorry you feel that way inside, and I'm glad you are comfortable enough projecting that it was that way, because I wouldn't have known from the outside looking in. I haven't been around for a while, but from what I know, running into you, you look like you're cool, but that's what life is about. It's like being able to find those vices that you need to do to be able to keep yourself cool. And I'm a believer of never holding shit in, like that that program that I talked about that forced me to get my GED. Like, I really grew up in that program, and it taught me a lot about life. And like, one of my biggest lessons was thinking before you speak and act, and then like not holding shit in and being able to find avenues to talk that out, even if it has to be a pet. Sometimes a pet will hold
It's
your
all life
secrets in,
skills.
no matter what.
Mhm.
Here's another thing, and it's actually a safe place I can say it, because if I said this to you, let's say alone after your podcast, after your guest left, it would sound creepy as hell. It's still going to sound creepy, but but it's in a public environment. I know I'm being streamed. My wife is probably watching our show also. And
I love that.
So I can say those kind of things. So what I was going to say is, you're a really beautiful person inside and out, Joanne.
What?
You really are. I've only known you for like 6 or 8 months, right? But I know,
Yeah.
I know what your faults are. You're like most of the comedians I know. You wear your heart on your sleeve. So I think I know most of your faults already. They're up front, and they're beautiful, darling. They're beautiful. But I mean, okay, and you're beautiful on the inside and on the outside. And this podcast is really just going to showcase the kind of person you are. And it's going to show people, like, let's say your ex, that what a lame ass he was for letting you go. And what maybe this nice new guy or somebody in your future, they're going to go, wow, look what a lucky person I am to have this individual. And so, no, I think it's a safe, positive place to express yourself. Just like stage, just like karaoke, just like stand-up comedy, just like writing. These are all forums in which you can be vulnerable, you can be personable, and you can stand up to some of this nasty stuff going on in our world.
Dude, the hardest thing though, what I realized about jumping into podcasting, not having much experience in it, you have to keep on planning forward because you have to anticipate that you're going to have more podcasts to do. It's not just a start and stop thing, it's a start and keep on going. So, booking forward, I learned that I have something to look forward to. I'm no longer as sad as I used to be.
Keep doing shit that makes you.
She
forget
said
those
something
things.
so heartfelt like that,
Yeah.
then just starts busting up laughing.
That's-
Which is,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna try to kill myself for anybody who thinks I'm gonna try to kill myself because I've tried that before. I've failed, and if I fail again, that'd be terrible. So I'm not trying. It's
well,
really a
and you know that you're here for. You're not selfish. I constantly hear that. Again, I've only known you 6 or 8 months personally, but here you talk about your mother, your children.
Mhm.
You know, you have a love for your fellow human being, but it's mostly, I mean, even just your family. You're not just here. You're not a selfish individual. You're actually here for other people on this earth. So
But I'm mean to
you
them.
kind of act
Yeah.
responsible in that right.
But I'm mean to them. I'm mean to them. I'm not.
It happens sometimes, you know. Sometimes, no, seriously, tough love. I get on my one son a lot, and I feel really guilty for doing it. But every time I do it like a boss is supposed to correct you at work. So he starts off with, "Hey, you're a really great worker, and we're having this conversation because you're really, you know, I want to take this time, and I really appreciate the, you know, the effort and the knowledge you put into this company. But here's what you did wrong." And then I end the meeting or that conversation with something positive. Again, I do this because, I'd rather have this conversation and have you here, and I can see you in our future. Same thing with my kids. I start off with, "You're a great kid. You're a beautiful human being, but you fucked up."
Here's the deal. You had to learn to do that.
And I end with, "I love you. The reason I'm doing this is because I love you. And I'd rather be the one that tells you
Yeah.
You
these
had-
kind of things."
The thing is, you had to learn to arrive to that because I don't know if your parents taught you that, but my mother did not teach me that. So, learning to talk to my children, because when they grow up and they're no longer children, they become people, and they start to have an opinion.
Oh my
They're
God.
people from jump, really.
They really are, yeah. From the
Yeah,
time
man.
that they're little,
They're just
it's just that you have
different
to.
stages.
I heard a joke
Yeah.
Joe Rogan said the other day. He goes, "I noticed when my daughter came of age, or when she actually started speaking up, it was at 3. He goes, 'All right, young lady, it's time to go to bed.' And she goes, 'Why? I don't got a job.'" And so,
No,
you know, he goes on
honest.
to explain why, and he does it in a comedic way, and it's, you know, part of it's BS. But the main thing is that I think if you lead with love and your intention is love and you really want the best for somebody, hopefully that comes across in all your communication with them.
I feel like growing up, I learned a lot about myself. I learned how to be a better parent once I saw the mistakes that I made. You know what I mean? And
Well, that's why I had so many kids,
Yeah.
because I kept
Each-
making mistakes.
That's how it works. It's
a
like
do-over.
you get better the more.
oh, you have 4 too? You have 4 too. You have 4. I have 4. I mean, I'm sorry. Collectively.
Look at this. We have some weird stuff going on. So we got some Aries in the room. We got some 4 kids in the room. We've got
Are you an Aries too?
No, I'm Libra.
A
a
Libra.
Libra. What up?
Libra.
What up, Libra?
Isn't that funny? Wasn't Ashley a Libra? Like
But
the
I don't.
Ashley.
Yeah, those are the things.
My
I
oldest
don't-
son that I was talking about earlier is a
I
Libra.
don't
Libra.
know nothing about all that. So.
Yeah, we bound.
Oh no, he's not a Libra. He's a Leo. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go
a
ahead.
Leo.
No.
damn
My
Leos.
daughter's a Leo, but I'm a Libra. The funny thing is, though, every year our birthday basically lands on like the same day of the week. So if her birthday's a Monday, my birthday's gonna be on Monday.
Okay, so it's exactly like 2
Yeah.
weeks apart. Or
No.
like
She's in
weeks
August.
apart?
I'm in October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's so. It was a leap year this year. Are you ready for that? Because it's not going to be for another 4 years. That it's going to be a leap year.
I don't know.
Does anybody know that anybody that was born on a leap year?
I've only
I
heard stories.
Do
I
think-
remember back in school, someone.
Dude, I felt bad for them. That's
somebody in my family. I think it might have been my grandmother, but yeah.
I think that's the best
Exactly
time to
sure
happen
about
is to the grandparents because then they could say that they're hella young when they're hella old.
Yeah, and it doesn't really. I mean, you don't have to wait until you're 18 in leap years or 21 in leap years to drink or vote.
That
or
would
whatever.
suck. Can you imagine?
Well, yeah, imagine that, right? you're like 90 years old and you can finally, I can have a drink now.
Right.
Buy everybody around.
You know that age limit exists for safety reasons.
That'd be dope though, because then I'd just be like, yo, the
Some of that makes sense,
27th
and other
I'd
parts
be like,
of it
the
doesn't.
28th and the 1st are both my birthday. From here on out, I get to celebrate 2 days.
Oh,
But I don't.
You were saying that
age limit?
age limits are put in place for
safety.
safeguards.
Yes.
I call bullshit on some of it.
Well, okay.
I'm a bullshit.
Can I speak in terms of this? Do you know speed limits for roads are set based on the capacity and capability of the road,
Sure.
whatever it can handle. So the speed limit is set for safety reasons.
Sure.
Maintenance, safety, understanding of the
Sure.
road. I believe the same thing is applied for age restrictions. It's for safety reasons, to keep everybody keep it in line.
I think on paper, part of it sounds good, and I think that they should impose standards so that we don't have 6-year-olds drinking
Oh, God,
martinis
yes,
in kindergarten or whatever, right?
Right.
But what I'm saying is,
They don't even know how to order it. They're not even like.
but there's some of the stuff we have in place is so ridiculous, and I'll just use this as an example, and I'll leave it alone. As a former or as a vet, you should know. Wait, you mean at 18 I can go put my life on the line for my country, but yet I can't have a drink
Or buy cigarettes.
or buy cigarettes?
No, back in the day, cigarettes was 18. Though,
No,
right?
that's back in the day. We talking about today.
Yeah.
Today being today.
I can't smoke a
Yeah.
cigarette.
But
I
also,
can't have a drink, but
back
I
in the
can go
day
get myself killed for
Is
my
when
country.
you said you graduated and dipped off to the military, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
case in point, like you literally put your body on the line at a younger age than they would allow you to drink.
Or better yet, okay, I'm going to give you another instance where they apply age, okay? You ready for this?
Okay.
Drivers' insurance policies.
Oh yeah, well that makes sense.
At the age of 25, you are charged a mature rate, a
lower rate.
a lower rate. You're
So
charged
that I agree with.
because your brain is fully developed at 25.
Exactly.
So,
Okay.
but they look at your age, but they also look at your prior record from when you started driving at 16.
But
to
wait,
that
hold
time.
on. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
This fucking loophole. If you get married before 25, you get married pricing, which is just as good as the 25-year-old, 25
Oh,
and up
really?
pricing. Yeah. And I found out because I got married young.
She says, yeah.
I got married at 21, and I'm like, so I'm insured better because my brain is not fully developed, but I got married, and they trusted me enough to give me the lower rate. So I get it. The age is applied for safety reasons,
Right.
but insurance wise, my brain is fully developed at 25. I guess I'm safer on the road, and they can afford to cover me.
Sure.
But if you get married.
How old was your spouse?
Oh, he was he was also
Same
7.
age?
Yeah, same age. We were both in the
I
military
guess
in
you're
Germany.
considered more mature that you're making a life move like getting married, even though youngsters don't dip
No.
into marriage just to get that loophole.
Right.
But
No.
have a little bit of discount on your insurance.
They
so-
should have actually charged us more, so it would have discouraged us from making choices like that. Like, my insurance is going to go up. Oh my God. Don't get married.
They all get paid when it was like, yeah, you go ahead and get married. Now you got to pay for the license fee, the state.
Oh,
right?
my
And-
gosh.
And then they're like, they said, oh, you're rushing in, you're young, because then eventually, now you're gonna pay us all again with your divorce fee and
Yes. Yes. Marriage is a moneymaker, that's for sure. Because you pay to get married, you recognize, and then you pay to get divorced and recognize. And oh my God, the lawyer fees and everything is ridiculous. It's like $300 an hour. Or that's what my lawyer's rate is.
And that's not bad.
Because that's Texas prices.
Yeah,
I
because I was
wish-
gonna say like
I wish I
some
would've
some
been
are like
smart enough to be a
$500 an
lawyer.
hour.
You know what? Everybody is smart enough to be a lawyer, but whether you're going to be a good lawyer or a bad lawyer.
No, definitely not smart enough.
Yeah, and I don't know. That seems like a slippery slope because everybody needs representation, and so then even defense attorneys that are defending lawyers and drug dealers feel that everybody has their rights, and so they're gonna have somebody fight for theirs, and so
I know this
And
much.
that's their job to get that person off, whether they believe they're
Right,
guilty
and
or
I
not.
believe in our system,
So okay,
but
it's not our
I would
problem
not.
until it's a problem that you're experiencing. Um, I looked at the city recently, and I'm like, the arteries of the city, the bike lanes, the cars, and if somebody decides to just cross the crosswalk at the wrong time, it interrupts the flow of traffic.
oh yeah.
So what I'm saying is, there's a symbiosis, I guess, that occurs when people just go their flow, do their thing.
Kind of a symbiotic kind
Symbiotic,
In
yeah.
Oakland, it's the reverse. It's like, yo,
of, well, the
everything,
thing-
all traffic laws are suggestions. You know? You know what I mean?
well, and I think
Might-
that's also the
might-
same with San Francisco. Like you were just saying, if everybody flows, that's more like a New York City, because it's like if the light's green, everybody goes, right?
Yes.
But here in San Francisco, if you get the red light and you're about to walk across the street, there's always somebody, oh, I'm
Yeah.
going across. It's a red light.
I
And I'm like, are you kidding me? You waited for the light to turn red to jump in front of all these cars.
I feel like some people want to get hit. I'm sorry.
They
That's the
do.
wrong
I
person.
think they want. I think they want free hospital.
We're playing
food,
Frogger
food,
today,
or-
bitch.
Right, and I think they literally want to lose.
It sounds
No.
a very incompassionate thing to say, but really though, I didn't realize that there are people out there that don't that want to harm you. You know what I mean? When I say harm you, they jump in front of your car, and then now you're in harm because they didn't care about you at all.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I am too old to do it now, but in my younger days, throughout the city, I did not give a fuck about jumping through traffic. I would kick
See,
people's
yeah.
cars if they almost hit me.
Well, you
I
have
would
to be
fucking-
an offensive and a defensive driver. Same thing. We were just
Yeah,
walking through
yeah.
the streets of San Francisco, and Joanne's like, or JoMama's like, "Hey, you know, like everybody." I go, "Well, I've been walking the streets for money, girl." And so no, but I mean, I've done my time in the city, and so I do know my neighborhood pretty well.
Except for a boss.
But your head's always on a swivel, and you're always watching out because there's always crazy shit happening. I mean, there's people pulling out guns,
Good.
knives,
It's
drugs happening everywhere. You can walk up on something you don't even want to be walking up on really quick. You got to keep your head out of your phone, your device.
Get only one headphones. Okay. For people who walk completely deaf to the world on Market Street, that's a very dangerous thing. Because next thing you know, somebody's yelling at themselves and they're pissed and they punch you. And you didn't even ask for it. You're just like, what did I do? You know what you were doing? You were walking on Market Street with headphones
not paying
in.
attention.
Yeah, not paying attention. I've seen so many people walking down the street with their brand new like iPhone 14,
Just hanging like
just hanging out. And I'm like, somebody's gonna come up on you and snatch that out of your hand.
I'm not saying that they deserve it. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying you gotta
just
be
run
a
away.
little
Yeah.
smart.
Especially, being a tourist attraction.
Oh,
I don't know
so
how much it
many
is now,
tourists
but
out here. Yeah, just I like seeing them get on the bus as a family. Pay their thing at the beginning, and it's all cute. And I'm like, oh, they have no idea what they're gonna see. The last bus ride I was on, I panicked. I jumped off because a fight broke out in front of me.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, everybody's so chill. They were just like, oh, nothing's wrong. My PTSD kicked in. And when they got in front of me and the dude was like, I'm going to get you. And I was like, oh my God, look, I ran off the nonstop. And then,
Well, I instantly get on the defensive. Go ahead, but yeah, I mean, literally, anytime something happens, I'm like, like ready to like.
my flight mode went out the door. And then the bus stop got the people who were fighting off the bus, and I was like, great, I'm on the wrong side, because I was walking the street trying to get away, and they had evicted them. I was like, I should have stayed on the bus where it was safer. I'm learning. But yeah, no, my PTSD kicks in, and then
you should have got back on that bus.
I should have. But like
At
a
least,
lot of,
at least you ended up being cool. So
yeah, as long as I didn't get hurt.
So okay, so I know over the last 15 years, my anxiety and depression have been different. And so even when I perform certain times, I've never had a problem with speaking in front of a crowd. I've never had a problem being at a concert and being wall to wall people, Maybe other than if you're really wall to wall and you feel like you could be trampled, then you
Uh-huh.
start to go, oh, okay,
Feel-
my body's moving and I'm trying to keep it still. Okay, this doesn't feel safe. But otherwise, I've never had a problem with crowds. But even in the last 10, 15 years, I've had times where it kind of comes up and it's based on different, let's say PTSD. I'm using finger quotes because I'm not going to be on camera, but just want to let people know I'm doing finger quotes. My PTSD, because, anyway, so yeah. And then coming out of the pandemic, aren't we all a little bit more? And then holy smokes. And then it's always goes back to what I always want to say, oh, what my grandmother would say or what my mother would say, but it's the old saying of everybody is going through something so traumatic and you don't even know it. It's like you have some major stuff going on in your life, and I mean each and every one of you within the sound of my voice, including myself. And you have to realize you're not the only one in this world.
There you go. Yes. Okay. So were you here when I mentioned my neighbor this morning knocked on my door like the motherfucking cops at 5:30 in the motherfucking morning?
What the fuck?
And he's like, your son is fucking with our water heater. And I knocked on my son's door. I was like, baby, are you messing with their water heater? He goes, no, mama, I'm not doing anything. First of all, he doesn't even like taking out the trash. Why is he going to fuck with somebody's water heater, please? Anyways, I was trying to calm this guy down. I was like, no, it's not us. And he's like, I'm going to call the cops. This is harassment. And I was like, he's the one at my door at 5:30 in the morning. And I'm like, okay,
5:30 in the morning.
I didn't go crazy. I didn't react inappropriately. I accepted it for what it was. Took me 2 hours to go back to bed. I didn't kick his ass. I didn't knock on his door. I didn't do nothing. And then later on, talking to my son, we realized he is in pain because he hasn't had hot water maybe for the last 2 days. And he thought directly that my son was doing it and laughing out loud. But my son laughs out loud at his videos. It's whenever I start talking, huh?
So we don't really understand the point of view that people have sometimes.
There you go. Yeah. You never know what people are.
Perspective.
Yeah, it really is perspective. I mean, literally, that's just two sides of a coin.
And I mean, if he had came to my door and been like, look, I haven't had water in 2 days and I think your son did it.
Right.
I'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. My son didn't do it. And if he accepted that, we could have a good conversation. But then it just went to attack mode. You're doing it. I'm going to call the cops. But I am grateful for people being like that because you see who you're living next to.
Oh, yeah. Well, so
You need to know.
first thing in the morning, I write. So usually the first thing I'll do if somebody hadn't caught me off guard like that, like if it had been 10 in the morning instead of 5 in the morning and somebody would have done that to me, I usually will catch it first that, oh, they're already a couple notches up from where I'm at currently. So if somebody goes, hey, has your son been messing around with our, I would have said, oh, well, good morning, Irving. I just took a pot of coffee off.
Kinda like
Can I get
de-escalate.
you a cup? Well,
You
no,
just-
I want to talk about sure. But let's start with our volume and let's talk like adults and let's figure out what's going on. Because, oh, look, it's 5 a.m. I didn't realize it was 5 because I thought, boy, usually I wouldn't answer the door at 5 a.m. Smith and Wesson
I
would
was
answer the
like,
door
what
at 5
the
a.m.
fuck is that? I was laying there. I was like, Jericho? And then he was at the door. He's like, no, it's me. And I was like, okay. So I'm just glad I
Do you
didn't have his
have
energy.
access to his water heater at all? Like what?
It must be in a common place or something.
It's in the back of the apartment, more or less. I didn't do it. We didn't do it. I told him we didn't do it, and he didn't accept that. But my process of coping through it and not getting all ghetto. Oh shit! Did you hear that pop in
Yeah,
my
I
neck?
did hear the pop. Oh, ghetto pop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just
The drink in your
saying.
neck starts coming back. You gotta chill.
It's all the stress. Relax. Let it go.
Inhale. Exhale.
You know, I've been hearing this a lot. Like, you look too nice, and I'm like, I am so angry. And they're like, yeah, I know. I say that out loud. Like, I am angry. And they're like, no, too nice. But I'm glad that we got over it. I told me and my son agreed. He's in pain and his accusations are his own. We have nothing to do with it. So we're not going to empower it with a response. Although I'm upset. I'm giving it more energy than it
Is
deserves.
there a way he can just go and look at how it's adjusted?
Oh yeah, he went up and down. I heard him all morning.
Did he go to everybody's door?
It's just me, and Carr lives on the other side, and he didn't go. I don't think he went to Carr's door. So,
You should just go to the manager and say, I'm having a problem with my water.
but on the bright side, I messaged our manager. I was like, hey, he thinks that we did it. Just letting you know, because I don't want you to think that we did when I told him that we didn't.
And why would someone?
Yeah, that would be no reason to.
I mean, unless you have some feud going on.
Let me tell you, in responding to the divorce discoveries, okay, what my advice was, don't read into more than what you should read into.
Right.
Just if you don't understand it, leave it at that. If you want to understand it, don't make assumptions, ask.
Right.
All right? Because when you invest brain power, you're giving it power. And I refuse to give that person more power of mine because I believe I'm very gifted in some ways. And if I direct enough attention, I could hurt somebody.
I could hurt someone.
Yeah.
I could.
Yeah.
But that's not my intention. I don't want to hurt him. He's already hurt. He needs hot water. God, give him hot water, please. There you go.
Yeah.
So that's my piece. That's how I stay. And I feel like as long as you're a good person, good things will happen to you. When bad things happen to me, bad things are going to come back to them.
I mean, I wish I could believe in that, but bad shit happens to good people all the time.
Yeah.
And good shit happens to bad people all the time. And the universe is just...
It balances
you're
it
gonna
out,
have
though,
some
right?
goods and you're going to have some bads.
I
and
believe there's a balance.
you got to
Everything
learn
is balanced.
from, you know, and
Yeah.
like you said, get those vices, keep doing podcasts where you talk, build your... I mean, I'm sure you got family.
No, my family don't even like pay attention to. Well, I have a good cousin that's like, "Can you send me your podcast?" And that's so supportive. Because honestly, I don't. It's so weird. It's like I don't want to burden my family with it, but I want to burden strangers.
Like, yo, if your family's like, yo, I'm down to listen to it, send it to them. Because yeah, I used to do a podcast. That's how I started with the name Brain Damage. Because my nickname has always been Brain.
Okay.
Me and my nephew was Pinky and the Brain back in the 90s.
I love that. What you gonna do,
Yeah.
Pinky?
Until one day we was at a party and he was like, "You can't be calling me Pinky in front of these hoes." Bro." So I stuck with Brain, and being a graffiti cat, I spelt it stupid. You know what I mean? And
That's dope,
and then
though.
doing a podcast, I was doing a podcast about MMA with 3 dudes with master's degrees, and my name is Brain. I'm like, yo, I fucked up my head when I was a kid anyway, so I just
With
went with Brain Damage.
MMA, what is it? A master's in us in.
No, they just have master's degrees in like business, but the
Uh,
podcast was about basically like UFC stuff, like
MMA.
Oh,
is
MMA,
mixed,
okay.
Mixed
Martial arts.
martial
Yeah.
I thought you were
arts.
talking about like, because I have an MBA, and I was like, what's
yeah.
an
So
MMA?
they have the MBAs.
Uh-huh.
Like, no, I think 2 in business. Yeah, I don't know, maybe all business.
So my MBA is in project management, and to be a project manager, you have to get a certification. And I became 100% disabled, and at that point, I was like, I'm only gonna get a certification to not be able to exercise it. So I guess it's a crutch that I never pursued my PMP certification. But at this point, I guess I'm in comedy now. That's what I'm doing. I don't need a project management
What
certification.
does project management mean? Like,
A lot more pay if you have that certification. I mean, I have the
what
MBA.
is that? Is that like basically putting together events? Is that like?
Oh, okay. A project manager is being able to design the project as a blueprint. Okay, look at it as like from
Like-
start to finish, and the in between, the completion. So there's a lot of variables that go into a
so it could
project
be
that a
any
lot
kind
of
project,
people
huh?
that people don't think about. And what I learned is there's rigid ways of pursuing a project, and there's agile ways. I like the agility but you have to be adaptable to okay. So if you have this major project, people are going to say it's only going to cost $10,000. it's never gonna just cost $10,000. No project is so precise that you're like, it's only $10,000. It's always gonna be more than what you expect because it's like anything else. It's the first time you've done it and you're learning how to do it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess there's other people who
So
are so
why
good at
why
it. I'm
can't
not
you
that.
get that certification to make your money?
No, I can't get that certification. I'm just not investing in it now because it costs money to get that
Yeah.
certification.
Okay. But you're like, hey, when I need to, I can.
I could just invoke the fact that I have my master's. So I have my
Yeah.
business.
I mean,
Um,
that's pretty savage.
People don't recognize it. If I could get
I'm
like
like, like
nunchucks,
I said, I worked so hard to be this stupid. Yes, I did.
get nunchucks that say what degrees I
Fucking
have.
love nunchucks.
Yes.
I probably would clock
Nunchucks.
myself in the head if I try to use some right now, but those were always my favorite weapons growing up.
I was in Chinatown
Nunchucks and
recently.
swords.
Yeah.
I was just telling my sister the other day, one of my earliest memories in life is when I was like 5 or 6 years old, and my pops in Hawaii used to slang weed. I used to run out to the corner, you like dime bags, right? You know,
Oh wow.
we
Family
got raided.
business. Oh.
Yeah, we got raided, and
Family business.
yeah, that was the first time I was like, "Fuck the cops," because I remember they they opened up the door to the room and they grabbed the katana sword, and I was like, "But hold up, that one's mine!" And they was like, "Get out of here, little kid!" Like,
That one's
yeah, they took they
mine.
took my whole family to jail. Me and my niece had to go to my grandma's house, but that was like one of my earliest memories. That I was like, "Motherfuckers!" So, like, hold on, my dad gave me that katana sword. Like, they're the ones did it. Why are you doing that to me?
It's the
Yeah,
hardest
and
for
I didn't,
children.
I couldn't have the concept of like, no, this is all still your dad's shit. Like, yeah, it's a sword, bro. We're not gonna give a 5-year-old a sword back.
That is hilarious. I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm glad that it translates into something comical. That's what I mean. That's what that.
Fucking idiot, you know what I mean?
But I've actually okay. So involving CPS when it comes to family, it's a difficult situation, and then kids getting placed elsewhere. You don't realize that you're a victim, but you're like, wait, you know what I mean? Because you're
Yeah,
just a kid that's getting moved around.
yeah.
But when they took it, I'm pretty sure your dad wasn't like, give my son back his sword.
No, hell no. I just remember being like, it was chaotic though, but that's like, of course, my little stupid ass mind only
Wait,
remembers that little boost
5?
of adrenaline. It was like, yeah, 5 or 6, I think.
I
And then,
remember like
but we
3-year-old
were, yeah,
memories.
I'm pretty sure like my mom and my sister came back pretty quick. They probably kept my dad for a minute, you know.
You know,
But
it's we tell ourselves what we tell ourselves to make it okay. So it could have been a lot more tragic than you can even recall.
yeah,
And as a kid, I guess as a parent, that's the one thing I wanted to provide for my children is safe, like for them to be safe. And I have a very volatile personality. I learned it. My mother is a volatile personality as well. I call it strong, but to better explain, it's volatile.
but you know, it's a volatile world that we live in that you have to have that strength, you
E-
know. But maybe you want to learn to balance it a little bit more better with,
when I
you
was
know.
raising my kids in Texas, it's a whole different the tolerant the it's just a temperature, different temperature in Texas. First of all, they no street smarts necessary. You can
Mhm.
live you can live past 8th grade with no street smarts here. If you have no street smarts, you can't make it to school. That's what I think cuz I had to take the bus.
Right. Yeah. We used to have to travel the city as little kids by ourselves, walking to school
Did you
in
take the
elementary
bus to
school,
school?
taking the bus to different schools. I know. I remember at my school, I would able to walk there. It was like a good 20-minute walk. But
Okay.
I remember some of my friends coming from like the Point and from Fillmore, and like, damn, you
Damn.
gotta come, from that far off. But then once I got to high school, I really learned. That's when I became a graffiti, and then I really learned the bus system. The Muni is a very like we were privileged to have Muni growing up because it is a very I don't want to say good bus system as in
No,
good, but
it's
like
very
it's
privileged.
it's very convenient for
Boy,
getting around the city
let me
without
tell you, when I went back
without
to
you know what I mean.
Texas, I was like, do I have to drive anywhere? Because I want to take public transportation. But the part that I lived in, it was so rural that the nearest bus area was a pickup, like a carpool to go to the bus stop. So I feel like I worked hella hard to get our to grow a family, put them in a place where they don't even have to worry about buses coming around because it's so like safe. Like no strangers getting into the neighborhood accidentally. I don't mean to say it like that, but it was
I don't know
really
about that.
safe. But now I'm not even there. Like I got voted off the island. I have a house in Texas that I'm gonna lose in the marriage, but
Fuck.
I mean it's okay. Then my
Sorry.
kids are in it, so that's my
They
kids.
live there still?
You're not gonna
Yeah.
lose the house with the kids in it.
Okay, so in 18 years, we finally bought a house, 5-bedroom house, 3-car garage, 3,222 square feet. But all of those things, not mine anymore. My name is on it, but it's not mine anymore. I'm just saying, that's why I'm so traumatized because my life just got pulled out from under me. And now I
As
live
long
in
as he
Texas.
doesn't try to sell it because it's built on that Indian
well,
graveyard, and it's going to decline the cost of that property dramatically.
No,
Yeah,
what
so
I
your
learned
kid's gonna
is-
get to basically keep it in the long run.
No, what I learned is my lawyer explained to me, no, you can get 50% of the equity. And I was like, it's so confusing. I'm so hurt that I feel like I just lost altogether. I don't really want to discuss it because they've asked for my podcast and my clips.
Well,
Yeah.
but yeah, what's that necessary for? That's not necessary.
It's
For
just
what?
it's just to hurt me, and I'm not talking or bringing his name up specifically,
Oh,
but
yeah.
because I'm speaking about it,
Yeah.
they're like, you're defaming him. I'm not. I'm talking about my life, dude.
You're actually
You get to-
expressing.
just-
You're expressing yourself in a healthy way to be able to cope.
I-
You're not going after the guy.
Did I call him out of his name? But
No, you didn't.
okay,
No, you
you
didn't.
so-
You didn't. You
okay.
Not once.
dude,
No.
thank
You're
you
just-
so much for being.
All you're doing
No,
is
but-
narrating your journey. You're allowed to narrate.
Yeah,
your
you're able to express
Yeah.
yourself. You should be able to write about it. You should be able to talk about it.
I played a
Like you
pickup
said,
game of
no
basketball
specifics.
with Luke Moore. Played a pickup game of basketball with him at
Yeah.
at like Chinatown. No, that's what it's really called. It's not. That's what it's really called for folks who's not
The
familiar
pickup
with
game.
of in Chinatown. That's what I meant.
Oh,
But okay, so we played basketball, and he's like, "You don't have to profusely apologize," and I didn't realize I did that. Like I'm constantly saying, "I'm so sorry," or because I hate those people. I do that, but that's what my trauma did to me. Is like I'm constantly trying not to get like
you're apologizing for things you don't need to.
yeah.
But that's good to start recognizing stuff like that, and that's how you start building towards being able to correct those actions and being more conscious of things.
It's just funny because if I'm not apologizing, I'm like, look, motherfucker.
Yeah. See, but that
And no
It's-
happy medium, nothing in between.
I think I have a condition. They just never diagnosed me. We've talked about this.
We've talked about this.
yeah.
Yes, tell
Pretty
me
sure
about
there's
your
a-
childhood. When
There's
did
a-
it
there's a
start?
high percentage of people that are undiagnosed with shit going on.
Well, I'm 100% disabled vet. That's what people need to understand. I may look like a normal person, but I've suffered. I'm just saying. People think that like I guess the happy look on my face is how I feel. No, my body hurts from it.
It's actually a nervous way of dealing with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I told you.
But
Should have been a therapist. I should have.
Yeah.
should have.
You've been
Yeah.
talking to a lot, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I paid a lot of money in my lifetime to therapists. I've learned a little bit.
and honestly, that's good that you're able to look happy, even if you're not feeling it. Because part of that fake it to make it shit is real,
Yeah, yeah. it's
right? But you just gotta
manifesting.
have to start trying to make yourself feel that happiness. Like, I
It's-
mean, that's why I got into comedy. Is like it is free therapy, and I get to just talk some stupid shit. If I'm not talking some stupid shit into a microphone, I'm saying it at home, irritating the fuck out my wife. You know what I mean?
What? That's
So
what I'm
I'm like-
saying. My
I mean,
kids
she likes some
hated
of my
it.
stories, but some is like, okay, motherfucker, shut the fuck up already. I'm
Right.
trying to watch this fucking novella, bro. You know what I mean?
Like at the dinner table, my kids are like, "Okay, mom, that's enough," and I'm like, "Am I done talking now?" But I would irritate my kids so much that they're just like, "All right, mom, you're not that funny." And so when I did stand up at 43, like just a few years ago, I was like, "Oh, they were wrong." I am funny.
Right. And it's, I mean, I've had a couple of conversations with people that are, like Tony Sparks,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he always says, "Do it for you," right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I ever really done it for, is to try to have fun.
Yeah.
And
Did you?
whether I bomb or get laughs is like, as long as I'm trying to have fun with it, then I'm cool. Although yesterday was my first time trying to go back in real life in quite some time, and I bombed at 3 mics straight, and it did, it didn't feel very. It usually feels a little better, but it was cool. But it's weird because, like I said, I've been doing stuff in VR, and kind of since VR, it's kind of like some of the things is like the same people, so I'll just talk about.
And how long have
my
you been
week to
doing
week.
comedy for?
Officially 2 years in August, but both times I took off like 3 months.
It's
in both
okay to
years,
be
so.
it's okay to be humbled by bombing.
Oh
I
yeah.
just bombed a month ago, and I've been doing it 16 years, and it should have been a cakewalk, and I went in there like nobody's business, and
Yeah, but that's on, like, usually I don't care if I bomb. Like, I
oh, I
didn't really
leaned into
care.
it. I leaned into it.
But
I leaned into the
I was,
bomb. I
yeah,
really didn't
I've
care.
I've done that.
So I've bombed so much that I don't even know I'm bombing because I still feel great.
That's what it needs to be.
I
right?
still feel great that I got to say what I wanted to say.
Exactly.
And
You're doing it for you.
yes,
That's where
That's where that comes in.
yeah. And whenever people tell me I bombed, I'm like, I did. I didn't know I did. But thank you for that feedback. Yeah. And for the times that think I bombed, I wouldn't listen to my playback. But when I listen to my playback, I'm like, oh, I didn't bomb at all. It was fine.
Yeah, sometimes it's just that you don't have the right beat for whatever the audience is. Maybe you're not 100% feeling it. Maybe they're not feeling it.
No, what I learned is I make people sad.
Why? Do you go off script?
No, the fact that I refer to my 18-year marriage as captivity, first of all, people don't understand the concept of marriage, let alone 18 years of investment into it. So the moment they get hit with that, they're like, wow, that was heavy.
So then find a way of.
But you feel me? Like a lot of people haven't even been in relationships past 5 years or 6 years. So,
Right. So you have to give them. You
you're
have to
building
give
your
them an
story.
analogy that they could understand.
there was a time when I was young like you.
Did you hear? Did you ever
It's
see?
like,
You
can
hear
you
about that
imagine being
person?
handcuffed to one person all the way throughout high school? You know what I mean? Or
Yeah,
some
yeah,
shit
I
like-
guess so. Something that they can relate to. Like I graduated out of this marriage.
Well, literally. I mean, it wouldn't be.
No, I
You
mean,
just have to
no.
find some analogy. So even like, what was that? J.C. Dugard, the girl that they found in the backyard after like 30 or 40 years in the East Bay, and this was like a decade ago.
Uh-huh.
What?
She was literally, she had been kidnapped when she was like 7 years old from a bus stop in Reno or
Oh
Tahoe
my
or
God.
something.
Oh,
And they found her at 40. And because the people that had kidnapped her, which was
Wait,
a
at
man
40
and
years
woman,
old?
at like 40 years old.
Oh wow. So okay, not dead. Okay.
No, man and a woman had or the husband, but it was a husband and wife had grabbed this girl from a bus stop and started basically, this is our daughter now.
Oh, just
And
raised
then
her.
so they had found it. So, you could somehow make an analogy of something like, oh, did you see that case? Isn't that crazy? Well, that was my divorce.
like that.
And then people go, oh, because everybody saw that on the news, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And try to make it so that where people go, oh, I feel your pain, my sister. I've never been married, but oh my, now I feel like I have.
Well, because a lot of the times people are like, you don't even look like you're old enough to experience that, and I'm like, should I start off with I am old as fuck?
Have you ever taken a mid-Atlantic flight where you're on the flight, you're on there for like 10 hours plus, and you realize the guy you're sitting next to has sandals with no socks, and he's got that toe fungus thing going on. Then he starts clipping his nails. I felt like I was captive. It made me feel like the last couple years of my marriage,
Oh my god.
kind of thing, or whatever. And so that you have to find the humor.
Wait, did you get captured in the military?
No.
You could be like, I never got captured in the military, but I definitely felt like a prisoner of war during my marriage.
Although I feel like Stockholm syndrome is a real thing.
That's okay.
That
Well,
is
even
so
Stockholm
real.
syndrome, that is something that people won't understand it because they know what that means. Oh, you fell for your captor. I got
But you could even I sometimes I consider raising kids Stockholm syndrome, but not from the kids' perspective, but as a mother, because my kids were kind of rude to me, but it's because I'm a brat as a mother, so I guess I taught my kids to be brats.
That's cool. I mean, whatever works.
No,
No.
until your kids start showing you who you are to you. And I'm just like, oh my God, I didn't learn about myself until I raised my little people.
It all comes back to you.
It
No,
does.
Yeah.
the
No,
kids.
I
do it
somehow
best.
got lucky. I definitely got lucky because my kids are cool.
No, my
They're
kids are
definitely
cool
not
too.
wild like I was. Not that I was stupid wild, but I mean, I did some stupid
But
shit.
they are kind of like
I would-
holding
I
up
would-
in air too.
You know, at least for me, hopefully I got some good karma
Oh.
because I would go to the payphone and make a collect call to call home to my mom to check in throughout the day. Be on some like collect call from mom down at the park. I'll be home by, you know what I mean? Like, so she ain't got to accept, but at least she gets a call knowing, you know, where the fuck I was throughout the day. Or
I had
we
a
was
joke
pulling an
that
all nighter. Like, we ain't coming home tonight.
I
'cause
had a
grew up
joke
with my
that was
nephews.
based on that same thing with my eldest son, but it was different. And so I had a thing as I'm trying to remember how the lead in is. You know, and you definitely don't want this. You definitely don't want to collect call at 4 o'clock in the morning stating something like, "Dad, bail me out."
Right.
This is an inmate at the San Mateo County
Mhm.
Correctional Facility, kind of thing.
Oh, let
You
me
accept the try. And those collect
Press
calls
one
were
if
even-
you're a comedian that does not have a
Call-
valid credit card.
Those were even worse
Kind
because
of
they
things.
cost more than regular.
I need to
collect
make this
calls.
clear. When I talk about my kids being just like me, it's not a disappointment. It's a conflict. All right? They make I'm very proud of my children. I'm very proud of their strong personalities, but that's what I'm talking about is they have stronger personalities. I thought my personality was strong, but I kind of raised like stronger personalities.
This model's got an upgrade.
Yeah,
You do
so-
realize that,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because did you
Yeah.
weren't you an upgrade from your parents?
That's true because I always say when
We
people
all
look
evolve
at me,
as human beings.
I'm like, you have to meet my mother. If you met my mother, you'd understand
You'd be
why
like,
I am.
damn, girl, you are got it going on. All right, got you, right? And so, yeah,
Dude, I need to. I'm gonna bring my mom one day to the studios.
I would
should.
love to meet my great grandchildren.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool because then you would kind of go, oh, this is what the end product
This is the
is.
trickle down effect.
This is kind of
Alright.
what I would have done in my lifetime if
I'm
I had
glad.
been,
Yeah.
what did they call it? Not resurrected. Damn Easter.
we
Sorry.
we
Uh,
reincarnated.
I don't know
but
if I want to be.
Reincarnated.
reincarnation.
Mhm.
So I guess that's what I would be if I had been reincarnated and evolved with all this stuff.
I think there's a cycle though.
Reincarnation for real.
I think there's a cycle. Oh yeah, I feel like we just keep on coming. Anyway, okay. There's I feel like my kids were not nearly as hungry or thirsty as I was growing up. Like, cause I was hungry and thirsty to go out, so I had to take public transportation. They were hungry and thirsty enough to be like, "Mom, can you drive me here?" And I drove them everywhere they went. Hella suburban mom. I had the 3-row car SUV, and hella suburban mom. I was that stay at home mom, kick ass. But now
I was that way too. I was the single dad that was raising his kids. That's why my wife, maybe part of why she fell in love with me, and so
you know,
that's okay.
and I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, when me and my wife first met, it was some of the worst times in my life, and she held me down. She brought me back to where, okay, now I can take over, and you know, then we've been doing it together ever since. And
I miss that. I wish I
like,
had a
yeah,
partner.
she for the first probably 2 years, I didn't have a job. I was going to school, like I said, I got those certificates, but like, and she was providing for us and holding us down, and
I think there's a
How
time to
raised,
be
you know?
single. Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's
I
a
think
good
there's a
time.
time to be single because if you're in a damaging relationship, you definitely need to hit the reset button, and you don't just hit it and then get right back on the horse or whatever you want to say.
No, no, definitely never
You
get back
literally have to
into.
go through the phase of, oh, I got to
Hell
go through
yeah.
all the phases of denial, anger, what all that stuff is, right? And
Yeah.
acceptance, finally to acceptance, and then realizing now I need to be alone for a while.
So the best thing you can do for yourself is be single, like you
Right.
said. But I thought I wanted a partner because I had had one for so long.
Sure.
But in
Yeah.
that search of finding a partner, I realized that people suck.
Right, and it's a
About
different time,
38% across the
It's-
board.
and it's a way different time from the last time you tried this out. You know what I mean?
And if they're single for this long, a lot of people are happy with being single and they just don't know how to be good to somebody else. So I'm just like, I think I'm gonna die single now, because I knew that when me and my husband split up, I'm like, no one's gonna ever love me like that again. Nobody's gonna. I'm not gonna live for another 18 years. Am I gonna live for another 18 years?
Yeah.
Long enough for that experience to be in a relationship that long.
Here's the thing is, you would think that, like, I had so much history with my ex-wife that you would think, oh wow, okay, I'm already in my mid 50s, and am I ever gonna find somebody that, but I've been with my wife, we've only been married for 2.5+ years, but we've been together for 23.
Oh wow,
And
yeah.
so
I wouldn't
am
even
I
say
ever
that 2.5
gonna
years.
find that again? No, I mean, but
You don't have to look. You.
relationships are great. You get something from every relationship you're in, even the shitty ones.
Yes, you
You
learn
learn.
lessons. Mm-hmm.
Right.
You
right.
learn about people and you learn about yourself.
Mm.
Mhm.
And if you get to an age, it's not a number, but it's literally a place in your mind and your brain. If you can get to that point of where, you know what, I can just leave this person behind and move forward and better my life because, whew, I feel so much better. And you're going to feel like that. At some point in time, you're going to be able to go, oh, this was better for me, it was better for him, it was better for the kids,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
better for everybody.
Right now you're out of your comfort zone, but you can build towards. You know what I mean?
And I had no idea until I'm out of the situation, because for as long as I was in it, I would have stayed in it. But finding myself outside of the relationship, I will say this: I love comedy. I love being out in front of people, talking on microphones. I like being on the stage. I love singing karaoke. And I didn't do any of those things in my marriage. I didn't get to celebrate myself like that.
That's that. You know what I mean. Then that's something you should uplift yourself for and praise yourself and reward yourself for it from time to time.
Thank you.
You
But
know what I mean?
I also think it was being responsible, because, like, a lot of times I had to be there for the kids more than for myself. So I put myself last.
Yeah, I literally waited for my kids to get through a lot of their adolescence before I would even do comedy. And then I literally had all my bases covered. I had daycare. I had everything was set. Even when they went to bed at night, I was one of those dads that had to read them a book. That had to. We had a schedule. Literally, after I would pick them up from school or the Boys and Girls Club, we would go to the park, and then after the park, we would go home. And as I'm cooking, they're either doing homework or watching something on the TV. Then I would feed them. Then they would all get baths, and then they would all get in their beds, and I would read them books, depending on who was in what room and what was going on what I did. But it was always, even when I did comedy, I remember, oh, it's 9 o'clock. I need to Skype in. At that time, it was Skype in. So I have to Skype into my kids
Hmm.
and say goodnight.
Yeah.
And did you guys read your book? Did you guys get all clean? And how did today go? And
I miss that. I miss that so much. Even though my three are adult kids now, but I miss not having that with my 5-year-old, because for the first 4 years of her life before we went through the separation, what happened is I brought them back to Texas so they could live in the house, and I felt like we were getting along enough that we can equally separate, our time. But it's complicated, and I'm learning from it. And because of that, I've missed out on like 2 opportunities where I bought my daughter's flights to come out here, but they haven't flown out here. So I am broken because I can't even like see my daughters during designated vacation times. And I used to be full time. So, all right then. So, did we do like a 1:45, 1 minute and 45, or 1:30?
We're gonna end up doing 120, 135 ish or so.
Okay, I
Nice.
like that. So,
135, 140 ish, right around there.
um, are you all familiar with Easter seals?
Yeah, they were, aren't they the actual stamps that actually that benefit like St. Jude's or some hospital?
Easter seals helps like disabled people find jobs.
Okay.
Okay, like kind of equip them so that they can be in society working normal jobs, but people with mental disabilities or not all.
Birth defects or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how Goodwill used to be. They would give jobs to people that needed it. They would, yeah, right. They
So
donate part of their money.
so Easter seals, yes.
Like how like Easter that just passed.
Yes.
And
Yes.
seals.
Yes, look it up because
Oh,
I remember because you would get stamps. You would get
Yes.
actual Easter seals, and
it's a nonprofit.
I wanted to say it was to benefit kids with cancer or something, but
No, but it's
yeah.
so it's a nonprofit that helps just bring people with disabilities into society, like being able to live with everybody else, like even though they have limited capabilities. All right, so when I was in the military and I was they figured I was disabled, they actually put me in the Easter Seals program.
Oh,
Yeah, to pursue my bachelor's, to justify paying for my bachelor's, they put me in the Easter Seal program.
oh, that's pretty cool.
Because they were concerned with how PTSD affected me, whether I could learn, and was it worth sending me to school. They had to justify why they were going to pay for my degrees. So I went to Easter Seals, and then next thing you know, like any other place, I loved it, and I just wanted a job there, but I never got a job. But I loved it. I was learning life skills, how to draw boundaries, how to be in society without fighting everybody because you're angry. Because like we were talking about, everybody's just hurting from something. And I don't know why I thought you would be familiar with Easter Seals, because it's a program that's like, it assists if you have, but I get it. I get it that you, we'll talk about it after. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to sidetrack like that.
No, you're good. You're good.
So,
I'm not-
considering that PTSD is a recognized disability
Yeah.
by the ADA Act of 1972, like how I just pulled that out of.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Thank
and
you,
you're
I
talking
appreciate
about. I
that.
remember dates because I remember my GED.
And there you go.
He's like bringing out laws and
Acts. The acts.
The ADA law. So, okay, so if that's actually that, and they were able to help you, that's kind of cool. So did the military
Yes.
see that as an opportunity? Was it like what was that? Like, is that
Okay.
like a social worker or like a counselor?
A counselor assigned me. First of all, she said, I don't think you're capable to get into this college that you're thinking. And they started to question my skills. And
Your cognitive skills?
my cognitive skills. And to keep my cognitive skills sharp, I took the challenge. And as it turns out, I'm smart enough to go to college.
nice.
So, how do they have to show that your cognitive ability is diminished because of PTSD? Is it because they can look at what you were doing prior to your trauma?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can look at her past goals. She was always an A student or always a C student or always whatever.
No.
And then they go, wow, ever since the incident, now she's having a problem.
I remember they had me take a personality test.
Oh, kind of like the, is it, oh, it's a personality.
And then
okay.
when I took the personality test, I was very honest. I was like, I don't want to help any motherfucker. I don't want to do a goddamn thing. I'm sorry. That's what I was telling the test. I was answering very
And that's how you
honestly.
aced the test.
Yeah.
No, I'm
They're like,
kidding.
are you sure you want to go to school? And I was like, look, I just want to live, okay? And I just want to be smart. If that means school, I want to go to school. So they were like, all right, we're going to send you to Easter Seals.
Nice.
Yeah.
And at least, see, if somebody would have
Look
told
at
me
you,
that
man.
I was in the military, I would have been, damn, I'm in the Navy SEALs. No, the Easter SEALs. No. We wash up on the beach and we take over and we. No, special needs stuff.
So I'm hiding the eggs then.
Yeah. No.
You find
I see Jesus and floppy ears. No.
that island with the big skulls. Then
Yes.
I think my biggest point in that is people think I'm capable because I sound capable when I speak. I look like I'm okay.
You're an intelligent individual with personality.
Yeah.
Your personality test shows that you have one.
Yeah, I'm a disabled vet. I have
Hi, disabled vet.
limited
Oh, wait.
capabilities at dealing with my emotions and my mood swings. So yeah, I guess I told that story because people don't think that I went through programs like that.
That's the only exercise I get anymore. My mood swings.
yeah,
Uh,
'cause I'm like, I don't know. I work in mental health now, so I'm like,
oh wow, you're just witnessing all of this in front of you.
yeah, well, with the kids, it's different. It's very different.
Well,
It's
'cause
a
you have to
different
guide
avenue
them.
than I've worked in before because now they attack. So I had to learn techniques on how to. Yeah,
Combat.
but there's no technique for blocking a flying chair except you know what I mean, and like so.
Right.
Because the technique is not to hit them back; it's to
Yeah, it's
neutralize
just-
the threat.
Yeah, and then
No, wait,
a lot
that
of
sounds
times,
worse.
when they're escalating and going off like that, they don't realize what they're doing. They just
Oh.
once they see red, it's on.
I said
And then
that
once
wrong.
you got them to where they can get cool, then they're like, oh,
De-escalate,
you know what I mean?
de-escalate. I said that wrong. I was like, neutralize the threat. No, you have to de-escalate.
but I see where you're coming from
Yeah.
as being military and police.
Well, neutralizing the threat means you go
Yeah.
for the core. Like you shoot middle mass. That's neutralizing the
I
threat.
haven't had a course since high school.
the
De-escalating is.
only core I had was when I accidentally ate the whole apple.
Yeah.
Oh wow! I smell
Them
apple
seeds
all
hurt
of a
my throat.
sudden.
No,
How'd that happen? Did
that-
somebody
that hurt
spray
my throat
apple?
Just thinking of that.
Wait, try that.
Did somebody just
Yeah,
spray
this-
apple?
it
Oh, did you smell it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the automatic sprayer.
And like you guys are talking about apples, and I smell apples. I'm
It's
like,
it's like berry flavor
It's
or
like-
whatever.
shit, am I having a stroke?
Yeah, no, it's the burnt toast flavor room freshener.
What is it when you're having
I
a
hate
stroke?
being
You
old
can
now because
taste?
anytime I smell something weird, I'm like, here it is.
Do you feel me?
Is this it? Is this it? I know this is
Whenever
it.
my arm starts going numb on me, I was like, is that it? Is this it? Am I gonna? But I do fear a stroke because people survive it and it's hard. You don't just die from a stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They once told me that I had one.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I had a couple years ago. I got blasted in the head with a soccer ball. I was sitting down and helping a student tie their shoes, and it just blasted me right in the head. Later that day, I felt dizzy, and so I went, and they had to do an X-ray, and they were like, "Yeah, you have a concussion." They're like, "Did you know you had a stroke before?" And
Oh
they're like,
damn.
they said they can see if it's with so new would be within the last few months,
Uh-huh.
and then once it's past that, they can't tell, or at
When
least
when it
what they
was
told-
or whatever.
Yeah, they just say it was older than a few months ago. We
Based
don't
on
know.
like the scars.
And it
of
was
I think.
they were like, yeah, sometimes you could have them, and you just never even knew. Because I never had an instance where I
Oh.
could think back and be like, oh, I do kind of remember I was feeling.
No lie, like half of my face moves differently, and I feel like sometimes I tell my doctor like this side of my face doesn't feel like it's moving accordingly to this. And really what it comes down to is circulation because I could feel it in my entire body. So since I moved back from Texas, moved to California,
Yeah.
Texas healthcare did everything. They did MRIs on me. They did scans. Like they were able to find a growth on my pancreas based on my complaints. Here, I have a complaint and they're like, okay, here's a swab. Go to the bathroom. You can test yourself. I'm just saying, but healthcare is better than nothing. So some healthcare is better than nothing, and I'm grateful for what I have.
Yeah. My wife keeps saying, let's move to Canada. They got free health care. I'm like,
Do you know anybody in
are
Canada?
they gonna pay me what I'm getting? No, I don't know. Not that I
Prime
know.
Minister, and that's about it.
I know a few cats that say they're in southern Canada because I guess they're so far up in Michigan or something.
Oh,
Yeah, some. I'm so bad with
Geography.
Geography.
How this
yeah.
isn't like northern Mexico.
Yeah, earlier. It was like, yo, like you don't know where Santa Cruz is? Look at a map, motherfucker. I'm like, yo, that's where one of my certain there's a couple different things where my brain just doesn't fucking get it.
Okay.
Okay, and it's just
There are-
never gonna.
I get you. I get you. Do you have any shows coming up? Because I think we're down to our 5 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, I do.
Almost.
So I have the showcase at, where's my calendar thing? Okay, so it's April 17th at
Ooh,
Fuego.
April 17th. I love
Sunnyvale.
Fuego. Fuego is a nice place.
Yeah,
Fuego.
and then
Nice.
May 20th in Concord, Vinny's Bar and Grill.
Not been.
Yeah.
May 20th.
In Sacramento?
No, that's in
That's
Concord.
Concord.
Bar and Grill. I've heard about backyard comedy showcases.
I've heard of that. I want
You-
to try
I
one of
know,
those so
right?
bad.
I want to do one at my house because I have a beautiful
We
home.
should.
Dude,
Let's do
Please,
one.
Even if I'm not on it, I would like to go.
Let's
but-
have an event.
Yeah, I have a really beautiful backyard, but it's in the valley. But that would be really cool.
The
because
missus
there's a
is
lot of
hearing
people.
this, like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah. Well, the funny thing is, I keep
I've heard
inviting
of those.
people out to the house, and I do it right in front of my wife, and she's like, "Okay, just let me know when you're doing that and who you're doing it with." And I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry."
Yeah.
How about
Really
this?
funny.
Next year we'll have the Easter egg hunt at Paul
The egg
Brumbaugh's.
roll.
The egg roll in Paul Brumbaugh's backyard, and we can have, like, cause I'm sure there's comedians without kids that don't do things, you know.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So we can all like have an Easter egg hunt and comedy showcase in your backyard.
Oh, I could put like cannabis chocolates in little plastic Easter eggs
Right.
behind them.
Yesterday I got like these 3 shipmates that were I was at Embarcadero Station, you know, down there by the water.
Mhm.
Beautiful. I've never been before, but I did. Yeah, I've never hung out there. I finally
Dude.
did. I ate some senior
You
sisig.
grew up here?
Yeah, but I was busy being bad. I didn't have
I
time to
was
be.
busy being
Oh,
To
you're talking about
enjoy.
in the center?
Yeah,
Okay.
I never
probably
enjoyed-
never really went in either.
yeah, because I think they would kick kids like us out. Like, you don't belong in here. Because when you're in groups of 3, you look like trouble.
But not the outside where it's
No.
the little water thingamajig
It's
and they have
beautiful. Oh my God, I enjoyed it. And I was smoking, and these 3 Filipino guys were like, "Miss, can I borrow your lighter?" And they were like, "Where do you get the weed?" And I gave them a joint. And then they explained to me that they're taking an hour and a half off the ship to have time away from the ship. And I was like, "Oh hell yeah!" But how old are you guys? I need to make sure I'm at least giving some grown men weed. Because do you know that grown men can be young, even though they look like they're grown? They're
Well,
still
that's what
young.
I was saying earlier. You once you come of age, but coming of age is not a number.
Okay, so they were 25 and up. That's the
It's
important
really
part.
a place in your mind.
Not
right?
like you said, the brain is not fully developed until that
It's
24, 25 range.
Or unless you get married and then your brain rushes to get developed, I
Nah,
guess.
whatever they consider is what they consider. Your brain still didn't.
And I really hate to say some of those brains never get developed.
I still have
Yeah, or
folds
some
that
of us
were like
fuck
waiting
them up
to
while
fall.
while they're still in development. You fucking headbutt a brick wall too many times, and you're like, your frontal cortex is a little off, buddy.
But now I have
not
Philip
necessarily
at
trying
the-
to. That's why I'm just explaining the thing before you acting. It's just like, oh, I'm not gonna make the best decisions on my first. Like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that.
That's a good point. Thinking before you act. I don't think a lot of people think before they act. Okay, well, maybe I don't think a lot before I act. So thinking before you act is important.
Try it. And when I forget that rule that I have for myself, a lot of times it ends up being something that I'm like,
Right, because if you're acting on impulsion, it's typically it's definitely an impulsion. It's not thought
Yeah.
out, and it's probably not for the best.
but that doesn't mean don't trust your instincts. Definitely trust your instincts too. But you have to, yeah, it's a crazy balance of like
It's
That's
a
true.
balance is the
being
word.
able to trust
balance.
instincts with
Yeah,
thinking logically and making strategic decisions. And
And I think you also have to figure out if you're a gambling person and if you should go with your instincts or if you have really shitty luck. Because most of the time they're like, well, one of 2 things can happen, either this or this. And I'm like, what's the worst outcome? That'll probably happen. Yeah, no, I don't need to make this decision.
the gambling thing is weird because I'm not a
Oh.
gambler per se as betting. But like I said, I did used to fucking play Frogger in the streets of San Francisco. If I see that fucking bus coming across the street and there's 3 lanes, I will.
you're like, watch me try.
And like I said, if you almost hit me, I'll kick a card. Keep running.
So you're gonna get mad at the car
That was
for
a long
almost
time
hitting
ago.
you.
Please, if I kick your card, don't come after me. I can't fight as good as I used to. But
He's saying he's grown now. He makes better decisions.
oh man, shit.
Oh yeah, that too.
We got these crinks and
I was a rough
Turtles.
kid as well.
So 45. I'm 45 too.
Hey,
So you said your birthday is around now. So did
March 22nd
you
just
just had
passed.
it, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the 22nd. That's my mom's birthday too.
Oh, so she's an Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or was, I guess.
Oh.
I don't know about the astrology stuff too much.
This he's about to have his birthday.
April
Nice.
16th.
Yeah.
Can I give a plug before we go?
Please do.
Because I never give a plug, and I'll
And
give
put
a
the
plug.
screen on you.
Put the screen on me. That's what
The
you paid
screen
me.
on you.
I insist.
Screen on me.
I appreciate
You
y'all.
got a screen on me.
Stop.
I'll let you guys. So again, check out everything that Brain Damage does at Instagram at Brain BRANE _damage, and of course JoMama at My Life is Content everywhere.
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 TikTok, Facebook, Instagram.
And my plug, my shameless plug is I'm going to be.
It's not on you yet.
Oh, I guess I should have it on me, shouldn't I? As I look down and read something. Okay, so this Wednesday, meaning tomorrow, that will be the 3rd of April, Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll be on a podcast, an international podcast called Comedy Dish, with host Stephen Allen Green from LA and Rick Wright out of London. Check it out. They are on a thing that's called Zoomcast. So again, check me out tomorrow, and it's Comedy Dish 2 p.m. PST on the Zoomcast network.
I'm
Okay.
glad you have a plug, because normally you're like,
Yay.
I have nothing to plug.
Oh,
You have
I
nothing to plug?
No, you're like,
I usually don't.
I have nothing to plug. But I think
I wanted to ask you real quick. So it's My Life is Content.
yes.
Like, okay, so this
Like a
whole time
content
when I would
creator.
read it, I thought it was My Life is Content.
Tent.
Far from.
See this? So I never knew that.
It was pretty punny, huh?
Yeah. Well,
Pretty
when
funny.
I first came up with Brain Damage, I used to spell damn edge, but it just was.
Oh,
People get
damn
confused.
edge.
Yeah.
That's dope. Like, I'm on the
Like,
damn edge,
Yeah,
motherfucker.
brain.
All right, so what do you got going on next week, JoMama? Any ideas?
Ooh, okay, so I got my lineup for the April 30th showcase at the Mint. It's going to be hosted by Ashley Tomajan, headlined by Howard Stone, and I have Manny Cabrera, Sean Nichols, Trish Panya, and Robin Brennan.
Nice.
I don't believe I forgot anybody. Although, Paul, I did want to ask you, do you want to be on the showcase?
No pressure at all, Paulie. Yeah. I'd love to be on your show.
Because I would love to have you and
showcase.
your wife come out, and
Aw.
and if it takes putting you on a show to get her out.
Get her out. I've been trying to tell you, JoMama really wants you to attend one of these events. So
Well, because
How it
I
works.
I love her for being so kind to you. I don't know what kind of character you are at home, but I know what kind of character you are here.
yeah, and it's even worse at home, dear. I know. Yeah, so I love her. Shout out to my wife. Thanks for having me. And you're right. I would definitely do that. So you have that happening at the Mint. What date is that?
April 30th, last Tuesdays of the month, we are going to have comedy showcases. And depending on how well things go, comedy, or they've even mentioned like an open poetic, open poetry slam kind of things.
Okay.
So just be on the lookout. The Mint Karaoke Lounge is open to opening their doors to us.
And do you have a page, or they have a Facebook page, The Mints
Cool.
SF?
Mint.com. Well, I guess so. Mint Karaoke Lounge. And if you go to any of my pages, they're always tagged. So I love the place so much, I got a job there.
There you go.
Nice.
All right.
I heard that.
For myself, Brain Damage, and JoMama, I think we're out. folks.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you for the show, guys.
All right. We'll see you next time around.